Christen press, score!
Christen press equalizes once again for Angel City.
Press, Golazo! Christen press, what have you done? Joining us next here on Football America is none other than Christen Press of Angel City FC and, of course, a longtime veteran of the U.S. women's national team. Christen, great to have you here on the show. We've been waiting a long time. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
All right, so partially you're on to talk about this new HBO docuseries that Angel City is involved in. I want to get to that, but I got to wait. Because right now, if I don't start with an update on your health, I feel like not just Angel City fans, but like U.S. women's national team fans will be screaming at the television. So give us an update. How you feeling? Obviously, a long layoff since the knee injury last summer.
Yeah, it has been a unique recovery journey. I've had some setbacks, and I've had some ups and downs. I think that's normal. I think this took a bit longer than I had hoped up till now. But I'm in the final stretch of my recovery. I'm starting to feel like myself again. I'm getting my body back, and hopefully I'll be joining the team soon.
Okay. It doesn't sound like you have a specific timeline there yet, but we've had her from Vlatko Andonovski, the national team manager, kind of talk about you as maybe having hope for the World Cup. It's a little bit later this year than, for instance, in 2019. There's an extra 6 weeks there. Do you still have hopes for maybe making a run at a World Cup spot?
There has never been a moment where I lost hope, and that I took my focus off of that World Cup from the moment that I got injured until now. It's the North Star for all of us professional players, and it's a motivation. And obviously the timing's really tough, but I'm doing everything I can to get back as quickly as possible because it would be a dream come true to represent my country again at that level.
You're not the only, superstar player that's had the ACL injuries. Recently, we've heard from players like Janine Becky, I think Alexia Putellas as well in Spain, talking about how it's so prevalent in the women's game, and yet there's not really seemingly the research that you would think behind it. I wonder what you make of the rash of injuries and kind of the issue of women maybe not getting the support that you might see if this were happening in the men's game.
I think the amount of ACL injuries in professional women's soccer in the last 2 years has just been shocking. And I think if the caliber of players from Beth Mead to Miedema to Alexia, in every league, international players doing double duty, stars, if this happened on the men's side, we would have immediately seen a reaction of how are we going to solve this and figure this out and make sure that these players are going to be available at the biggest moments of their career.
So obviously a kind of factor, side part of this injury, which is not a good thing, is that you do have a lot of off time. So I wonder, you can't rehab 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So what do you do to fill that time maybe off the field and looking at some other endeavors?
Well, I am a co-founder and a co-CEO of my business, Re-Inc. That was started long before my ACL and will be long after my recovery and career. So we are a business that has commerce, community, and content, and we really do serve our women's soccer fan, and we really are trying to build a business that has value and it has equity at its core because of all of the history that we have as professional players, myself and my co-founders. We really learned to bet on ourselves and to bet on our value, and we really started to understand what our community and our audience wants from us, and they want to create a better world. And so at Re-Inc, you can find content, thought leadership, clothes, a community to help you make the impact that you want to make in the world.
All right, Christen, let's dive in on this docuseries. What's that experience like on the inside of the fishbowl? Because we're going to all see the final product, but what was it like going through it?
It can be a little awkward at times. I think that I believe that there's sacred space in sport, and I believe that, in the locker room, there's quiet moments, and there's things that you always have to protect. And in order to do a project like this, you have to begin to trust the team that's building it. And I think because Natalie Portman was at the head of all of it, and she is the creator of our club. There was a little bit more trust than otherwise we would have had. But it ended up being really fun. I think the documentary is quite honest, refreshingly honest, I'd say, which I didn't expect. But I think it's going to give a really interesting and unique inside look at what it was like to play on an expansion team that was built as a startup with really big business goals and with really high stakes.
Nice. I can't wait to watch. All right, you sold me. Well done. That's what I'm talking about. All right, before the interview started, I asked you to tap into your memory banks. I wanted to get your favorite Christen Press goal with the women's national team, because anybody who's ever watched the U.S. women's national team on ESPN knows what my favorite Christen Press goal is. But I want to hear from you. What's your favorite?
Well, my favorite goal is the most important goal I ever scored. So 2019 World Cup semifinal with my head, untraditional, don't score a lot with my head, against England. It was the most important goal, hands down, in my career, so it is the one I'm the fondest of.
Okay. That was the most important in your career. The most important goal that you scored in my career probably came in March of 2020. Just before the pandemic shut everything down, it was the She Believes Cup. It was also, Christen, against England. What do you remember about that goal?
Press, golazo! Christen Press, what have you done?
I love that goal, actually. It was, I remember everything. I remember the play, Carly Lloyd turned, I turned in the pocket, and it was far out, really, really bent. And I remember that someone from behind the television said, "Christen Press, what have you done?"
Christen Press, what have you done?
And I have seen that and heard that many times in my life.
So have I. I don't think I'll ever live it down. You know, the best part of it for me was there was a perfect, and this is why TV is such a team sport, there was a perfect camera angle from behind you, and you can catch the bend of the ball, Christen, as it kind of, and you see it leave the space of the goal and then come back. And my only reaction live is like when you take a bite out of like you know, something you really like. You're like, oof. I was like, oof. You know, that was my great narration there in the moment on the Christen Press goal.
Well, hopefully I'll be back soon doing more goals like that.
I don't doubt it. And I remember, Christen, at that time thinking, boy, if she isn't the best player in the world, she's darn close to it. Did you feel like that, you know, around that time, right before the pandemic?
Never. I've never felt like that. I've always felt like greatness is aloof and ahead of me. And I hope that, you know, when I do come back, that I'll be not just back at that level, but beyond it and continuing to strive for a level that is, again, just out of reach.
Love the perspective. Greatness still ahead of us. I love to hear it. All right, Christen Press, great to have you here on Football Americas. Get back on the field quick, and good luck with Angel City FC and hopefully with the U.S. Women's National Team.
Thank you so much.